This next job is a commercial heating pump. I came out to this the other week and pump number 1 has failed, so I switched it on to pump number 2. It's interlocked into the panel, so when the pump goes down it won't bring the boiler on. So I switched it on to pump 2, but Grundfos don't make the head anymore, so I've got to change the whole body and the heads. It's one of their, well, I'll show you when we get in there, but they've sent a spacer out. Because I'm guessing the flanges, it must be a different body, so I've got a spacer to fit. I've got some longer bolts and some new gaskets, so with a bit of luck this should be, well, it's not going to be a straight swap, but it should be the right one for the job. So we'll get in there in a couple of minutes, and hopefully the valves hold. I think, if I remember rightly, they're on levers, and I think the crane as well, so a good quality lever valve should hold. It should just be a case of whipping it out, undoing the bolts, plonking the new unit in, wiring it up, and everything should be working then. So yeah, we'll get in there and get it done. Here is the offending article. So we've isolated it power wise, so that is 240. That's 210 in it, so that's what the space is for. So yeah, it is going to fit, it just looks a lot bigger. We'll get this, which one? That one. And that one valved off, and then we'll drop this. There will be a bit of water in there. Drop that into a bucket, unbolt that, and it should just be a case of bolting the new one in. We'll disconnect it electrically, and yeah, get it sorted. On these ones, you just have to push the pins in, and the cable should pull out. He says, like that. There will be a bit of pressure in that, so just crack her off. Carefully. The old gaskets, we need to get them 10 off on the faces, new gaskets. They won't be asbestos gaskets either. I have checked the register. Some of these old gaskets will be asbestos, but they're not. They're just they're like the fibre ones, the same as the new ones. They're just their ones. I'm going to unbolt it off the pallet. Sometimes pasting them helps stick the washer in place. I could take the head off the pump, which might make it a bit lighter, but I think I can lift it up. What I'll do is get this left hand side bolted in, and then I will put the spacer in on the right side and use the longer bolts. Hopefully it fits. Leave that there a minute. Once I get the first bolt in, it won't be too bad. That's the awkward bit done. What I generally do is put my bottom bolt through, and then the gasket will sit on. I just need to make sure it pulls tight. It is awkward on your own. We're trying to hold them up. I know I could take the heads off, but it's just about manageable, this one. You want to tighten up opposite so it pulls it nice and square. That's more or less what we're looking for. So we just need to clamp that up nice and tight, and then we'll tweak that side up as well, and then we just got to wire them up. That's all bolted back in. Just need to find an auto air vent for that because it's a high point on the pump. I should be able to use the old thing, but just put a new bottle vent in there. That's 3/8 connection, and then get filled back up, or turn the valves back on, and get it wired in. I've took that out there and that don't fit that. I really wanted to put an air tap on top, so I can go and get them fitting for this, but for the time being, we'll just fill it back up. I'll have to nip and get an air tap for it because I haven't got one in the van. We'll just fill it up. Fan code kicking in. Make sure we've got no leaks. I didn't turn that one, I'll turn this one. Slowly switch them back on. That one was solid, but it didn't matter anyway because we've got that one there. I probably could have got it to go, but I didn't want to snap it off. So I've got an AV going up there. That's fine. Yeah, we'll get these wired up. I just need to get some more flex out of the van because that one's too short now. That one will be fine. I've got some flex in the van. These electrical connections that you need to wire the pump up come inside the heads. So I took that one off. They want one in. I was expecting to find two in there, but they've only sent one. I don't believe it. Cheers, Grundfos. Cheers for that. Yeah, thanks for that. That means I've got to come all the way back here. At least I can get one head going. I had a bit of a panic there because I actually unboxed it in the office because it got delivered to the office. Who I use, they're actually a lot cheaper on the pumps than a lot of other places. Well, it's anchor pumps. If you want big pumps and stuff like that, they are fairly competitively priced. It's not their fault because obviously they're like sealed in the thing. And normally they come in the heads. And I thought, I wonder if they've delivered it separate or whatever. I took the top head off and there's one in there. That means I've got to come all the way back here to wire one pump in. Not happy, not impressed, but anyway, we'll get one on. At least we can get the heat in. I can always bring an auto air vent when I come back on there then. So I mean, it's not the end of the world, it's just annoying. You know what it's like when you want to get jobs done. But yeah, these just wire in live neutral earth. I've got some longer flex in the van, but I'm just going to wire it up on that one, and then I'll probably just bring, well I'll probably leave that today and flex it back up when I come back. But yeah, I'll just get this one wired in, get the heating back on, and yeah, get it sorted. Well, that just pushes in there like that. That's all wired up. That gun goes on there. We can put the cover back on the head, and as I say, I'll have to come back and wire that one up. Beautiful. Temperature will pick up. Well, it would be job done, but we've got a couple of bits to finish on it now. I've taken the fuse out of that, but I'll pop some Wagos on there just to make that safe. And I say I'll pop back and just finish the other bits off when I get a spare minute, or when that electrical connection comes in. I forgot to say, with that pump, you have to press and hold that centre button. I don't know if you saw on it, it's like that flashing green eye. And if you don't turn that off, what it will try and do is switch over to the pump head 1 or 2 every 24 hours. But that system's not been wired like that. It's still got the old manual changeover on the BMS panel. But because I haven't got pump head 1 wired up, it would go to fault after 24 hours. So you just have to hold that down, it unpairs it. Because they come paired up to switch over, so you're putting even wear on the pumps then. Because sometimes they won't ever get changed over. So yeah, you just have to hold that button for 5 seconds. I did do it, but I forgot to show it in the video. Can anybody spot the fault on this heater? This thing's like blowing up and water's gone everywhere, but can anybody spot the fault with it? Because the first thing I saw when I walked in was the issue. Yeah, that, so back to front, not very good. I'm going to put a new expansion vessel, change that bit. I'm changing the whole heater. That expansion vessel's probably fat. I picked a new one of them up, but yeah, it'd be straight swap. Heiko 10 litre, but yeah, that looks newer than the heater. It should go that way, not that way. Seen it all. I've seen, to be honest, it's not the first time I've seen them. People put them on the wrong way around. So on this, we've got nearest cold draw off, isolation point, check valve to stop any hot water going back. That's fluid cat 2. 3-bar pressure reduction valve into the heater, 6-bar PRV, and then out through the hot, and then the blender. So it is plumbed correctly. If you've got enough pipework, I can't remember what it is it 1.6? You don't need to put a check valve and an expansion vessel on it. But what happens is, as the heater heats up, that takes up the volume of water, so obviously hot water rises. Hot water gets larger, so that takes up the expansion. If it can't take the expansion, it'll blow it out that, in theory. That's what should happen. As I say, if you've got enough pipework, you don't need to put an expansion vessel and a non-return valve on it, because it can expand back into the main. But the problem is, like here, you'd end up getting warm water at your cold tap because it would just keep expanding and keep expanding. That's why you put a check valve on for your fluid categories. So you've got fluid cat 2 water there. So it's plumbed in right. It's just whoever changed that PRV has put it in wrong. We'll get it heating up. So we need to store this at 60, but it's blended. So that'll be down to between, well, around 40, 41 degrees. So we'll check temperatures on this. We'll have a good dry up, make sure we've got no leakers, and that is job sorted. Can anybody see what's wrong with this wall treater? This is another one that's blown up or split. Absolutely water flying out everywhere. We've got water coming into the unit, into the heater. Check valves that side so it never expands, and then we've got no PRV on this unit either. But that expansion vessel is doing nothing because as the hot water tries to expand, it can't, because it can't go back through that check valve. So that check valve should have been there with the expansion vessel there and then the PRV. So it's plumbed in completely wrong. Been called to this job. Some of the circuits aren't working on the underfloor heating. I've been around with my thermal camera. Half the rooms are getting hot and half of them cold. I think zone 4 is probably turned off on the stat. I need to go and check. But that loop there too wasn't working. But there's a stupid way of piping this with the, because normally you take them behind so you can get to these. That one doesn't appear to be letting any water through, but I don't know if it's just stuck, so I'm going to try and clean that out. I think that should just pop off. But yeah, I don't know why they've done it like that, because it makes it hard work to work on. Them aren't calling because you can see by the little red indicators. But I think zone 1, only half of it's getting hot, but they haven't even left like a chart to show you which room's which. I think this one here is the problem loop. See if I can clean this. I'll just turn the water off there. Just work this one out. Sometimes it might be working, but the little pin thing gets stuck, so you can't see if there's any water going through the circuit. Sometimes. Whip these out. Normally it's a bit easier than this because normally you can get to them, but they've piped it up like that. Just move that camera out of the way. There'll be a little bit of pressure in it, but I suppose I could have opened the drain off tap, but not a lot. In fact, it'll stop. Sometimes the pin actually drops through. You get rubbish in them and then they don't move. So we should be able to see now if that circuit's got water going through it. It's still not letting out through. The only other thing it can be is if the pin has collapsed in here. There'll be a little bit of pressure in here again because I turned it back on. To adjust these ones, you just twiddle it with your air tap, but sometimes the pin will drop all the way through and then it won't let any water in. Just let that drop. Let that water go again. We're only in a boiler room, it's not doing any damage. If somebody's tried to twist it all the way, sometimes the pins fall out. That is working, that is opening and shutting. You see it? It's maybe just got a bit stuck. Sometimes if you wind them too far they can get stuck. I'll try. I thought I'd made them all cool for heat, but that one doesn't seem to be coming on. I may have missed a stat, but these two, which one was it, zone 4, they should have water going through them now, which didn't have before. But as I say, the original fault was just half of one loop that wasn't working, which I think was that one. It's still a bit cooler, isn't it? It's that second one from the left. The head's open on it, and it's just not letting as much through as the others. Why is the flow getting on them in return? That one there. They put the pump on the right way around. That's 44. I think the pump's on the wrong way around. It looks like a new pump. I bet they put that on the wrong way around. 44 on the return. Oh. I bet they put that pump on the wrong way around. I see there's the old pump laying on the floor, but that flow should get hotter, and it's not. They've put their It's going through the return, so that's going the wrong way, that pump. That one's opened up now, so everything is on. We'll just make sure that head is nice and tight, otherwise it will just always go through it. Do I change that pump around? Should we get them working for a start? I think they are working. The reason this one's cooler is that's the return, and I've only just literally freed it off. So if you look at the flow, it's 46 degrees going through there now, but it's taken a while to come back. So well, as I say, it's going backwards on this. It's only at 20 degrees. But yeah, they're all working as they should. That one's a bit cool, zone 4. But again, it's because it's going the wrong way around. It's going through the return. What they're doing with the pipe work here then, because that should be the flow in, it's 50 degrees, return out, and then that pump's going backwards. It's 2022, that pump. There's the old one. I would say what they've done is, because of the head, it was looking like that before, and the cable didn't reach, so instead of flicking the head around, they put the pump in the wrong way. So it means the flow gets hotter than the return. I actually told you wrong there, because on these manifolds that's labelled return coming back through, so I've swapped that pump back around how it was. Normally your flow goes through and then you drop down, and then these come back on your return. I mean, red and blue generally indicate flow and return, but I think it's possibly right how it was. So we're going to check all these loops are working, and I think that's job done. Right, it's been about 10 minutes and they're all starting to come on. You can see the pipes at the back, and so the front one's the return on these. So we'll go and check that loop inside. See the back pipes, that one. Zone 4 might just be shutting off again actually. Zone 4 is shutting off. But all the others are working. It is quite warm in the building, so the call out was only one room not working. It was just turned out to be half of it. So I think it was that one, but we'll go and check inside. So it's got an empty mixing valve on this as well. Low loss header, expansion vessel. Then we just got a Worcester combi. Is it a combi? Am I telling you wrong? Yeah, it is a combi. Hot. It's cold in. Who remembers them god awful things? I used to fit a few of them. They bought them out, didn't they? What, about 10 years ago? That's a Mickey Mouse tap, that, isn't it? Just changing this blender. That nut, that top nut was a right sod to get off. It's failed its tests, so easy one swap. I won't going to film it, but just like that tap. Nice one, that, isn't it? I find them rubber washers really hard to get in, so I'll keep these Regan ones in the van. They're a lot easier. They don't, when you try and put that rubber one in, it all the time tries to pop out. I can't do it one-handed, but I'll show you. Like, squishes up the two. They're almost too fat. They're struggling, but that, I'll just go straight in. There's nothing wrong with the fibre ones. Most of the blenders do come with fibre washers. But I'll just get that tightened up, check the temperatures, and then this job done. Boom, another job done. Just got to cut them back. This is a bungalow. I've just been asked to come and put a radiator in. The plaster is literally starting right now. I've had a word with him because these, see that brickwork at the top, it stands out quite a lot. So he says he's going to be able to get over them pipes. I've just used 15mm copper down. What I'm going to do is cut them off at the top, and I'm going to slide some pipe work that way and lag it. Where have I put my lag in? I've got some 15x19 lagging just to get it out the eaves, and then I'll have to come back and connect it up because I haven't got time today. But everything's soldered up. It should be absolutely sound as a pan. We've got a 410mm wide vertical radiator going in here, so I just needed to get that in. The builder was going to put it on the surface. It says no, it's going to look shocking if them pipes come down the surface. I won't be happy with it, so I've just literally dropped in. It's taken me 20 minutes to get them pipes in, and I say I'm just going to slide some bits back, and that's another one first fixed. I've just driven 20 minutes to a job because the client rang up to say they've got no water. Well, it's actually a care home, so I was on my way. Like, I was literally about 2 minutes away. I said to him, you know, if your water comes back on for whatever reason, let me know, because he said Anglian water might just be working in the area. He might have just knocked it off for 5 minutes. Anyway, they just literally rang me, told me not to bother coming, so I've literally driven 20 minutes there. I fitted this PowerStream about 7 years ago. There's about 16 in these flats because they didn't want to install water. Technically, you're not supposed to put blenders on the outlet of them, but they're not thermostatic, so we did, and it's never been an issue. This one's packed up, and I don't think Red Ring make these anymore, or you can't get hold of them, but I managed to find one online. But they've changed the connections on them, so they're now female. Why they've done that, I don't know. To control the flow through these, you just stack a jack of the valve down, and it controls the temperature. It's a bit like an electric shower, like 10.5 kilowatt, but it was on the spec for blenders. We split all these flats off, so we came in, leave a valve, and then we put every flat with a water meter in. It was a right pain of a job, but we did it, and as I say, I've managed to get one, but it's just different. I've changed a few of them over the years, and they've all been straight swaps, but not today. Thank you for watching this week's episode. All the support is greatly appreciated. I didn't get as much footage as I wanted this week, but I've just been super busy. But yeah, we got all the jobs sorted, which is the main thing. Last episode of the year is probably going to be this Friday. I might do like a Christmas special sometime over Christmas, but I'll have a think about it, just see what time I get. So yeah, we'll catch you on Friday. Thank you for watching.